Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. How's everyone doing today? And as you can see in this video, we're going to be going over the EZA details for Earth-Shaking Immense Power Super Saiyan Goku. This is the one from the Hachiyak two-part movie that came out somewhere close to like 25 years ago, something like that. And this being the very first Carnival LR, I'm really excited to see what's going on here. Now, to not put too fine a point on it, this unit is very outdated, so I'm expecting some groundbreaking things here, to be honest. But let's see, right? Let's just hop in, I guess. But this also signifies that the EZA might be coming in exactly 2 days. So that would be something to look forward to, actually. So without further ado, let's hop into the details. So we have the old details on the left, as usual, and let's hop in. So the very first thing that we're seeing is that the leader skill gets an additional key. I was hoping they would give a little bit more to stats, but again, this is going to be a precedent, so I really wish it would have given some more stats as well. Carnival LRs now have 220%. I don't think it would have been an issue to go up to 210%. Again, key plus 4, fine, I get it, but more or less, okay, that's fine, not a big deal. Now we have the passive. So key plus 5 and 250% attack and defense up from 150% attack and defense. The key plus 5 is the same. Superclass allies, key plus 2 on attack and defense of 50%. That was just the 2 key and 50% beforehand. Chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate of 50%, and that is up from 30%, but the crit is entirely new. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, STR excluded, to STR key spheres. That is all unique and new. Okay. More unique stuff. For 1 turn from the character's entry turn, 10% more damage reduction. For 3 turns from the character's entry turn, another 10% damage reduction. So, turn 1, we're sitting at 70% damage reduction easily. Okay. And now we get into the every attack received. 2 key permanently. Up to 5. And 30% attack and defense up to 150%. That is combining after receiving 5 or more attacks in the pre-EZA state, and 15% attack and defense up to 75%. So that's actually doubled. It's pretty big. That is pretty big. I'm just not seeing a lot of stats. And this is bugging me. I'm not seeing a lot of stats. After receiving 7 or more attacks in battle, so that's combining, that is the down from after receiving 10 or more attacks. Foresees enemy super attack within the character's attacking turn from the next turn onward. When receiving an attack with 20 or more key, a additional 10% damage reduction, and if the character is the first attacker in the turn, an additional 10% damage reduction. Okay. So, easily in slot 1, we're talking 70% damage reduction. Right? Because he's got 5 key. If he's getting hit 3 times beforehand, he's getting another 5 key. If we're talking double key plus 4 Battle of Wits teams, he's starting off at 8, so he's sitting at 18 key right away. that is not going to be so difficult to get to. Honestly, that is not going to be so difficult to get to. Okay. And then when activating the active skill or when attacking with 24 ki, 150% attack and launches an additional super attack. It's up from 50% attack to 150% in that last part of the passive. I have my reservations about this. He needs at least another 250% defense somewhere to be relevant. I understand about 70% damage reduction, but remember, the Golden Frieza Gogeta unit has 70% damage reduction on the Frieza side. Just straight flat 70% damage reduction. Yeah. I have my reservations about this unit. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. But, to be fair, this is a huge, huge upgrade from where this unit was before. And talking about the super attack, the 12 ki raises attack and defense for 5 turns and greatly lowers defense. That was for 1 turn originally. So that is, interestingly enough, going to be something. It's not a permanent stack, so longer fights he's not going to be very useful on. At least to my understanding. Of course, we'll have to see post EZA how we would do. And yeah. So the 18 ki super massively raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn. That's up from just a regular attack and defense for 1 turn. So that's going to be either 80% or 100% attack and 30% defense. And the same thing, but adding defense. So raises super class allies attack and defense by 50% for 1 turn. So that's an additional 50% defense. So that's actually really cool as a support. And remember, he's also supporting super class allies for 2 ki and 50% attack and defense. So that is pretty good as well. I have to admit that this is giving me the STR Vegeta vibes. The Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Dokkan Fest. He has this damage reduction and barely any defense. Same thing with Tech Golden Frieza. And with a little bit more of a regard to the AGL Golden Frieza banner unit. I know I'm tired, but this doesn't feel like it's fully the way it could be. Okay, so please hear me out. I am super tired, so maybe I am not getting this stuff correct, or mostly correct. The possibility of them putting in, say, another 50% attack and defense for every attack received up to 200%, and another 50% attack and defense after receiving 7 or more attacks in battle. I believe they could have done that. They could have added 20% more attack and defense when receiving an attack with 20 or more ki, something like that. Or, you know, they could have added defense when attacking with 24 ki. Although I don't like it when they do that, when it relies on you attacking to get defensive buffs. Why should you have to attack to get defensive buffs? Get your defensive buffs when you're defending. Now, one thing to note is, as you can see on the right side of the screen, even though it's not, you know, fully filled out, the attack and defense raise is 30% for 5 turns. If you get 24 ki, which once you get hit 3 times, once this unit gets hit 3 times, that'll be much easier. If we're talking a ki plus 3 lead, so you're starting with 6, you have plus 5, which is 11, and if the super class allies ki plus 2 also affects you, which I'm hoping it does, meaning that this Goku unit, I genuinely hope it does, that means you would jump up to key plus 13. If this were the case, once you get that extra 5, you're sitting at 18. If you go with a 4 key lead, you're sitting at 20 at that point. And many fights, slot 1 will net you that 2 to 3 attacks, typically. So first time he's on rotation, you put him in slot 1 with the 90% damage reduction total. I mean, the total of 90% damage reduction, and you should be fine. I mean, theoretically speaking, right? If you think about it, like, let's say the last battle of Next Generation Saiyan's edition of Supreme Magnificent Battle, which gave me so much trouble, oh my. Yeah, without going too much into that, the Goten and Trunks could super you for 3.5 million nearly right off the bat. So even if we're talking about 90% damage reduction, you still got to end up with 20 or more ki turn 1. And if your ki is an absolute disaster, like sometimes just Dokkan just pushes that. Like, hey, you need like 7 more ki, but we're only going to give you 1. That can happen. And then you would be sitting at only 70% damage reduction. And 70% damage reduction of 3.5 million, that's 1.3 million, right? So if your defense is not high enough, if your defense is sitting at just 500,000 for an STR unit versus the AGL Goten and Trunks, you're probably losing the fight. There's not much you can do at that point. You really can't do much at that point, which is why I really wanted to have more defense. Now, this attack raise is a little misleading. I actually went on for 10 minutes, which I cut off, about this attack raise being for 5 turns, right? So, turn 1, you get 1 additional guaranteed super attack, maybe a 2nd additional guaranteed super attack. So my average, but the most you can get in a turn is actually 3 additional super attacks, because you have the basic effect additional, which is a 50% chance of becoming a super. If you get 24 ki, you get a guaranteed additional super attack. Then there's the hidden potential system. At that point, it's probably going to be an additional super attack if you got somewhere like 28 additional in the guy, which most people who have built him probably did not build him like that. Thinking about it, because there was no stacking potential with the super attacks, it's all reliant on him being hit. So people would have to redo their entire hidden potential system for those people who have it maxed out already. I am not liking the way this is designed, because if we're talking about a guaranteed 2 additional super attacks for that 30% attack raise, so 60%, that you're talking about turn 5, you're talking about 100%, 80% attack and defense more reliably, and then the possibility of it being 270%, then I'm okay with it. But fact is that this basic effect just being a 50% chance of becoming a super attack, nope. I am not feeling excited about this, unfortunately. I would love to test it out. Unfortunately, Supreme Magnificent Battle just gives you 6 attempts. So same with Red Zone, so you can't really just test these units and say, okay, let's see. Okay, dead, turn 3. Okay, because I didn't get 20 ki at that point. I didn't get hit enough at that point. I only had 60% damage reduction. What even is the point? Trust me on this one, like, what even is the point? And then there's the Tamagami number 1 fight, where you have a guaranteed seal on the battle, and to top it all off, the super attack is a guaranteed stun. And he supers in slot 0 before you even get to attack. What's the point? I don't get it. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of this EZA? And if you believe that this Goku will be able to rock Dokkan Battle's 11th anniversary events or not. Thank you all so much for coming and watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed.
If you're new here, if you haven't already done so, please do consider subscribing. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Christian, signing off.